We've got a camel's bum in the background. How about
Yeah,
that?
he was actually facing around the right way, and then he's like, F you guys.
Camera shy.
Welcome back to another lesson in the academy here at Camel Academy. Today we're going to be talking about why you should learn how to hobble camels, or your camels, depending whether you're working with them or you have your own. Because you might not think you need to learn how to do it, but we have seen lots of different circumstances, and no domestic setup is perfect. And so having this skill, I think, is so worthwhile in the end, don't you?
Oh, for sure. Look, it's another thing that, responsible camel owners need to have. I mean, that's pretty much it. If you've got these large, beautiful animals in your care and control, then, something like hobbling is actually part of it, okay? It's not something special or anything else about it. It's just part of being that responsible owner.
Something interesting also that I've noticed with camels and hobbling, I've worked with horses in the past, training horses for a few years there professionally. And I found most horses kind of freaked out when they got the hobbles on. I remember my first time actually watching you hobble the camels, and even my first time watching a camel for the first time being hobbled, I'm like, wow, they did not freak out. If anything, they just stand still and they're like, what do you expect me to do with these? So it's not stressful on them at all. Like I've not seen a camel in hobbles under stress, unless they don't learn how to walk in them, which they do eventually, and then they're left alone. And,
Look, I mean, by now, you know that they're an intelligent animal, really smart. They figure things out, and allow them that time. It's sort of like watching babies step for the first time.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And they're sort of trying to work out and figure out, okay, well, how far can I actually step in these things? And once they've got it, they've got it. And they've got it forever too. So it's just one of those things you have to go through.
Yeah. It builds on your relationship with them too.
Absolutely.
If they're learning how to be hobbled, and you've just hobbled with them, they're like, okay, well, how do I walk in these things? It's that building on your relationship and that trust between you and the camel, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Camels are awesome like that.
Right.
Okay, so the first reason I've got down here to learn how to hobble your camel is vet procedures. How many times vets have said to me, can you hobble the camel? Like, just because it makes them feel more comfortable, even though your camel may not do anything, it just makes your local vet feel more comfortable.
Yeah, just think about it. I mean, the vet is like your doctor, okay? And your doctor just wants to home in on the issue and the problem, okay? They don't want to know about, it's all very well and good to have a great relationship with your doctor, but they don't really want to know so much about, from a professional point of view. They don't really want to know about, what you're wearing and
what Aunt Mary's up to.
What Marty, yeah, that's right, exactly. Okay, they want to home in on the issue and the problem, so that they can give the best professional advice they can. And if they're concerned about, a leg coming out and kicking them and all that sort of stuff, then,
which is a valid concern with camels.
Yeah, so, and especially with vets that have never really handled or dealt with camels or don't really know much about camels, that little piece of assurance that you've trained your camel into hobbles, and so there's less chance of them lashing out and kicking, out of fear, of course. Then the vet can go ahead and do their job and get in there, do the job, whatever it might be, and then get out. Okay, so
we do actually have a what we call a vet tie down with ropes and stuff, but this leads me into our next point here is sometimes you need to get to the legs, and if a camel's sitting down, you can't get to a leg. Like, for instance, a leg injury. So if something's happened, and the camel's cut itself and you need to get to the leg, the first thing I would be doing is hobbling that camel to have a closer look, to dress it. They can still manage to kick with their legs even though they're hobbled. I wouldn't say It depends on the camel. Some are really clever and they learn how to. Is she going to come right here?
I don't know.
There's a chicken right there.
Chicken's coming
And she's
right
like, so
next
what are you guys up to? Come on. Yeah, so they can still kick with hobbles, but it actually depends on the camel. Some will go, oh hell no, I'm stuck. They won't even think about how to kick. But some camels like, no, I got it in me. I can do this on 3 legs or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, it's just really important as far as the vets go. I mean, make their job really easy, and that way they're more likely. You got another problem with your camel in the future, then they're more likely to say, oh yeah, okay, well if you can prepare your camel for the vet visit. And they know what you do with that preparation, then they're more willing to come out.
But even a leg injury, you could do yourself if you had to even just spray it with some purple spray or disinfectant. It's like, get that camel hobbled.
Sure.
It just solves a lot of issues. And there's so many ways you can use hobbles. So many ways, and I'm sure we're not going to be able to cover it all because there's so many ways.
Yeah.
But the next point is. I think hobbling the camel can also be a great point of desensitization because you're going down the legs. How many times when we've been out and about with the camels, kids will go literally run under the camel's legs.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're being cautious and saying don't do that. Like, you just never know, especially if you've got your camels in the public or you got people visiting your property. You just never know, and I think hobbling is a good desensitization process.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've got to have the camels desensitized to be able to hobble. I mean, the way that you do it, there's a video on that, okay? Yeah. And eventually, once your camel trusts you, all right, it all comes back to this, okay? It all comes back to trust. Once the camel trusts you, then you can start to maneuver down the leg while they're standing and hobble the camel standing.
So, but if you're listening to this and watching this and you haven't done lesson 2 and 3 in Virtual Camel School, you need to do that well and truly before doing the hobbling process.
Yeah.
It's part of the desensitizing process, because the last thing you want is to stress yourself out and your camel out without that desensitization process, because this is not a training technique. This is not, it is just part of the process and that relationship building. So so the next thing is a fun one, I think, or we think, is that if you've camels learned how to hobble and you're comfortable with it, you can actually go for little short treks and graze them out in the bush, or in, if you've got desert lands there or big pastures, because if they're hobbled, they're going to be easier to catch.
Yeah.
And obviously you'd be keeping an eye on them the whole time, but it's super fun because it's so enjoyable for the owner, I think, to watch your camel grazing on things that's
loves. Oh yeah, look, I mean, you go for your day picnic, for example. I mean, a lot of people get camels for this sort of reason, for your day picnic and whatnots, and you want them to have a bit of a graze out while you're having a bit of lunch. Then hobble them out.
I love it.
And they're only going to move at the maximum if they do start to go on a march, but they'll move at 1 kilometre an hour. All right, that's a lot different to the 5 kilometres an hour they can walk, or faster if they're running, of course. So it's easier to keep control. I mean, a cameleer should always know where his camels are. And
or her camels.
Well, I'm speaking from my point of view, and I happen to be male. A cameleer should always know where the camels are, and if you can limit the speed, if you like, of them shuffling along. And what I found also too, when you stop, you feed them out, they will go for a bit and then they'll get distracted with some food, and that's where they'll stay, sort of thing. They'll maneuver and they'll eat around the place, and then they'll start moving on again. But by that time, I mean, you're in control. You're in control of them, and you got to be in control of your animal.
This is definitely one of my favourite parts of using hobbles, is grazing out the camels, because they love it. It's enjoyable for them. That could be a really good part of the training process, is to hobble them and then, go and graze, and just enjoy the process. And if your camel's struggling to walk in hobbles, that could be a good thing, is like put them in a field or a bushy area that they might like, and
they'll learn very quickly.
They'll like, that smells good over there. Now I got to figure out how to get from here to there in these hobbles.
They'll learn very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that everything you wanted to cover?
Pretty much. I mean, it's really is just the vet situation. That's the main one. From a domestic point of view, tracking point of view is hobbling out and having them feed while they're still, believe it or not, in your control. And especially out in the desert regions, if you're out in the desert or you're thinking about doing some extended treks like that. It's essential. It really is. It's to have your camels loose and just walking, well, you might actually end up losing them, and that's something that you definitely don't want. So there's a practical reason why you learn how to hobble.
For sure. Well, we've loved sharing this info with you. So again, on this page is actually the hobbling process where Russell demonstrates on a live camel. We got a live one there, but he's not doing anything.
He's sitting down there.
He's like, I'll be part of this, but I ain't doing anything. So yeah, check out that video.
Good to talk
guys.
with you.
See ya.
See you guys. Bye.
Hey, just quickly, how would you like access to the full tutorial on this camel topic? Become a member of our Camel Academy now, and you not only get access to this camel information, but a whole library of camel information. The Camel Academy is an online portal for camel owners and camel lovers just like you, which consists of a library of camel information, including entertaining camel vet talks and procedures, camel handling techniques and camel psychology talks, access to the latest and greatest info on camel husbandry and well-being, even workshops on how to make your own camel equipment, and of course a forum to ask your camel questions to camel professionals. This is just a glimpse on what you'll get access to in the Camel Academy. It's the camel flicks for the camel lover. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. Come join us, our resident camel vet, and a community of camel connectors worldwide over at cameleeracademy.com. That's CAMELEER academy.com.